This is Rob from 106.1 Kiss FM. Broadcasting once again with my main man. I don't even have a gimmick for you today. Mr. Wednesday morning, Jerry Valeri. Good morning, Jer.
Good morning. Christmas came early last night, Rob.
So did Jerry 2 nights before that.
I came way too early to the party. Christmas came early last night. I'm just going to go ahead and say it, and then we can talk about it later. That was an A SmackDown. That was a great SmackDown.
So I think you liked it more than I did, although I don't want to come off like I didn't like it. I just feel like you liked it more than me.
I was texting you about it before I even got to the end, which made it really over the top great.
So let's talk about it. I mean, I thought it was good, and you thought it was A+.
I thought it was so good. There were no real spots where it ever dropped off. It just kept chugging along, and it kept telling a story. Like there was a narrative weaved through the entire show. It's almost like the writers have finally started watching the Attitude Era and how they used to tell stories, and how you don't have. I heard it on Russo's podcast a while ago. Somebody had said, I don't know who to credit, that it looked like the WWE was booking their shows for YouTube segments. Like, here's a good YouTube segment. All right, done. Mm-hmm. Here's a YouTube segment. Okay, done. And then, but now they're like, it's entire shows with an overarching theme and a story. And it just happened to involve my favorite wrestler yesterday on the current roster. And so I really enjoyed it, having Kevin Owens throughout the entire show, building to that main event confrontation.
Was there?
I thought Sin City SmackDown was awesome.
So let me get started by saying that it was really good. I did have one little technological failure yesterday in that my cable box had to reboot while it was recording the show. And I clearly missed a key part of the show. So I missed all the Vince McMahon stuff up to the headbutt. So it was like Vince McMahon coming up next, but I resumed right at the line that was like something like, you just gave me permission to attack a McMahon. So I saw the headbutt, but I will admit that I was a bit deflated that I missed everything leading up to it. Do you want to fill me in on that segment?
Absolutely. So Kevin Owens is out there already, and we've gone through the show, and we'll cover that in a minute. And then no chance, no chance.
You got a good McMahon swagger.
No chance, no. And he gets into the ring, and Kevin Owens says, Vince, I hope you don't mind I call you Vince. And I see you're a little intimidated. And Vince starts with, well, I don't know if it's a little bit, if it's intimidated as much as nauseated. Here we go. Now, Vinnie Mac is going to start dressing down Owens, and he rips him apart. He was like, you want to do a lawsuit? Go ahead. There's a B beside my name.
There's a B?
Billionaire. You know how many lawsuits I've been involved in? You know how many of those I've lost? 0. I'll have you in court. I'll have it tied up. It'll be 10 years before we're even in court. And I'll still have a B beside my name. And then you'll have a B beside yours.
By the
Bankrupt.
Way, for the record, Vince has lost lawsuits before.
But he said he didn't. Well, he said he's lost none.
Why aren't they called the WWF anymore?
Oh, boy. Whoa.
I'm just saying.
Don't bring Panda in. Well, last night, kayfabe, he's lost none. So his streak's intact, unlike the Undertaker's, according to him. So he says, so the minute you'll be bankrupt, the minute you file that lawsuit, I'll have 2 words for you. You're fired. And so there it goes. And then And then Kevin Owens brings up, well, you suspended Shane, and he put his hands on me, and Shane and Vince says, I suspended him, but not for attacking you. You insulted my family. You said horrible things about my grandchildren. You got what you deserved. I suspended him because he didn't pound your face so you couldn't tell the front to the back. He said, oh God, I hope I get the quote right. I suspended him because he didn't rip your liver out and plop it all over the ground. Like it was descriptive, and he was talking about how he wanted Shane to just, and he's like, but I'm not gonna give you this. I'm not gonna give you the show, but I'm gonna give you a match. And I'm gonna give him Shane McMahon an opportunity to do everything that I just said. And so the match is what we thought the match was always going to be. Kevin Owens and Shane McMahon inside a Hell in a Cell. Up to this point, I'm not underwhelmed, but I've gotten everything that I kind of expected, albeit I thought Vince might side with Kevin Owens, but he didn't. Then
you were talking about this, by the way, taking place at Survivor Series. And I said, yeah, there's no way they can wait that long.
Now it's Hell in a Cell. And Kevin Owens says, all right, I'll take the match. I'll take the match. But I want to guarantee that I can't get fired. I want to know that I can't get fired for attacking a McMahon. I want your word. And Vince puts his hand out and he says, you have my word? Or beat a McMahon senseless is what Kevin Owens said. And Vince McMahon said, you have my word that you can beat a McMahon senseless. And that's what he said.
Oh, beautiful.
Shook his hand, and then Vince is kind of chirping at the mouth just a little bit, saying something. There's no mic in front of him. And then bang! Headbutt! Oh, no! Now what? Oh, boy! Vince is bleeding the hard way. We've got color. We've got color on SmackDown. Vince is bleeding. What? What? Vince is bleeding. And then he picks him up and he punches him in the face. Kapow! Oh! And then the officials start coming out and kicks him in the stomach. Oh! Kevin gets to the top rope. Oh, no! Oh, no, Kevin, don't do it! Oh, Kevin! Kevin, don't do it! Kevin, don't do it! Kevin! No! 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 Frog splash! Kaboom! He killed Vince McMahon! No! Stephanie comes out. She's pissed. Man! A+.
I wish I missed the whole show last night. We've gotten positive comments about when you reenact stuff before. Holy cow, did you just take me on a ride?
A+.
I love you, Jer.
I love you.
Wow, you really, I mean, I feel like I don't even need to see it now. And you just nailed it.
Bleeding the hard way, Vinnie Mac.
Now, let me tell you, I did see the entire attack. I picked up literally at the moment where he said, I mean, the first thing I heard was, you just gave me permission to attack a McMahon. And then, I mean, we were off to the races, and it was a sight to be seen. I will tell you that.
Yeah.
It was such a weird amount of blood that I didn't know what to make of it at first, but when I saw the replay, it had to be hard way.
Well, it was hard way because you saw it just like when one of my kids falls off the bike. Bang, they fall off the bike. And you're looking, you're like, oh, no, you're good. You're good. Oh, there's a little bit of blood. Up there, here it comes. Oh, we're going to the hospital. Like, that's what it looked like. Like, it started here, and then it just bubble, 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 bubble. Unlike a Ric Flair, where like all of a sudden you look like you caught him mid-surgery.
Right.
You know, they've got him opened.
Which, by the way, at this very moment, he's probably cut open mid-surgery. just to point that out.
I'm not dead yet. Woo!
So yeah, wouldn't it be great if Vince fined himself for bleeding?
It was great. We've got color. We've got color on SmackDown. I didn't see that coming.
Well, I mean, it wasn't a lot of blood. It was a very weird amount of blood.
It was a good amount of blood.
It was a weird amount. That made it good.
It was perfect. And I thought the whole night was set up perfectly for this. And it doesn't even bother me that the World Championship is like the third most important thing on the show right now. Like, that doesn't bother me.
No, I mean, well, look at the situation. It's Jinder fighting the same two guys for the last 4 months.
Also, last night was a historic moment for me because it was the first time I was legitimately excited to see Dolph Ziggler and interested in everything he said. And I just hope, I'm so glad they waited another week, because next week, my money's on he's coming out to glorious. He's coming out. This is a Bobby Roode feud if I've ever seen it.
Yeah, so last night it was, I remember Bailey. And
don't you remember in the very beginning, he interrupted Kevin Owens to do Shane O'Mac.
Yeah, Shane.
And they had a great exchange, and then Dolph went away, and I thought that was perfect.
Yeah, no, that was good. And he did Bailey and Ultimate Warrior, and yeah, that's kind of what the gimmick is right now. And you're right, it could lead to I forget if it was you or Michael last week who kind of gave us the plan of that seed of that idea. But yeah, I mean, really any of the guys who have an exaggerated entrance would fit well into a feud with Dolph Ziggler right now.
I feel like Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode could really have a barn burner feud, one of those feuds that lasts a few pay-per-views.
But I mean, like, even if Nakamura didn't have his hands full with Jinder right now, I feel like he'd make a lot of sense. Who else on SmackDown makes a lot of sense?
Well, Nakamura and Dolph already did their thing, and that was underwhelming.
That's true. You're right. So that was happening. He's picking some interesting people too. Like Bailey was a good choice. Same with Warrior, Savage last week.
Cena.
And not only that, this feels Attitude Era in the way that it seems somewhat real. Like, this is not a far stretch for Dolph, I feel like. I bet you he believes what he's saying, even though he's saying it like a heel. I believe that he, in his heart of hearts, believes that, because he doesn't have an entrance like Nakamura's that people sing along to, that he doesn't get over with people, or have that, just those things that make the audience not want to grasp onto him. He feels that legitimately, I believe. And I feel like that could be the blueprint for success finally for Dolph.
I hope so. I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be great. I liked. We want to keep moving forward. What did you think of the United States Championship match? Ty Dillinger and AJ Styles.
I didn't think a whole lot about it. It was kind of what I expected. I expected a good, solid match, and that's what I got.
Good match. It told a story with Baron Corbin. Like, they're setting up the Corbin Styles thing. Oh, that brings me to your tease. Okay,
yeah. You want me to tell you about Baron Corbin?
Yeah, you know what caused the heat that pretty much lost him his Money in the Bank, and I mean he's been demoted pretty hard. Although being in a program with AJ Styles, you could be worse off.
Yeah. So here's the thing, and obviously we are wrestling outsiders, and everything I know is based on, as Conrad and Bruce say, rumor and innuendo.
Yes.
And so my understanding is, well, allow me, if you will, good sir, the opportunity to tell you about the heat that Baron Corbin has been generating for himself in the locker room, sir.
Let's hear it.
I am the advocate for the locker room, my good man. Goddamn, pal. Let me tell you something.
Goddamn.
You gotta cool it with the way you've been acting, pal. Anyone who knows the Pritchard podcast knows that's what we're talking about. But anyway.
Pronouns, pal.
Dude.
Sorry. I could quote that podcast for 30 minutes.
So my understanding is it goes like this. There was an all-staff meeting, all-talent meeting that management arranged with some sort of doctor who specializes in CTE and concussions and the impact that concussions have on an athlete. And this guy was even in that concussion movie, Pro NFL. He was on the NFL side in this story. Okay. He's to talk to all the staff about concussions and the WWE protocol regarding concussions moving forward. Again, all talent is at this meeting. And Corbin's a guy who was previously in the NFL, and I believe left maybe as a result of the concussion. That part might be wrong, but he was a former NFL athlete. So at some point in time in this meeting, I don't exactly know the context or what they were bickering about, but Corbin takes a very definitive stance against what the doctor is talking about. And it was described as extremely awkward. And that even though a lot of people internally were agreeing with Corbin, the feeling in the room was, even if that was the way you felt, this was the wrong time to address it. So this guy is this professional who I'm sure is paid to talk to the talent about what the WWE's protocol with concussions is at this point and moving forward. And Baron Corbin's there talking about how he's full of crap, essentially, to his face at the wrong time. And management
probably embarrassing Vince or embarrassing Triple H or whoever set up the meeting.
Just embarrassing management in general and himself. And like I said, like some of the talent disagrees with his stance. Some of them agree with him. No one seems to agree that this would have been a good time to bring this up.
Right.
And Baron's trying to come off like an expert when they've hired an expert to be there.
So he got a ton of heat on that, but is that lose your push heat?
Apparently it was, but not get yourself fired heat. Just, we're going to let you know we didn't appreciate that heat. So
you lose your shot. You lose your shot.
I mean, like, I'll put it back into radio terms. Like, imagine if, we've got people from corporate coming in to talk to us about the importance of digital and website use and all this stuff.
I've had that meeting a million times and I bit my tongue.
Right. So imagine if you stand up and you say, well, don't you think that the driving force at these radio stations should be the on-air product? And you basically start challenging everything the expert says, whether you agree with it or you don't. This is the direction that the company's going in. Get on board or get off. And Baron Corbin was embarrassing himself like that, my understanding.
Where did you get this information?
The websites I visit, whether you want to go to like WrestleZone or 411 or wherever your site of choice is. Okay.
Yeah. See, I never checked that stuff. So that's cool.
So that's my understanding. And I feel like that's fixable. Like Corbin can get over this if he sticks this out.
He doesn't seem like he's in Enzo territory yet.
Well, Enzo's just in a different kind of territory. And I'd rather, I mean, while I could easier find myself in Enzo's situation, like I wouldn't be the guy who would speak up at a time like that like Corbin did. I'd rather have the boys not hate me. I feel like management will eventually get over it. I don't want the boys all hating me. That'd be tough.
When the boys hate you, that's the kiss of death.
Well, I mean, there's different kind of heats, I guess. I don't know, but if no one's trying to help you, I mean, you got to be a team. And if no one in the back's trying to make you look good, you might have a problem on your hands. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
How you doing?
How you doing? The Jinder Mahal promo, I thought it was ridiculous in like a weird way.
So I agree with you, but I also want to say I think it was good, and I'll tell you why.
I do too. But it was like he was cracking up the Singh brothers, but no one else was laughing. Like I thought that was funny.
So I think people at home were kind of laughing. The Singh brothers kind of sent it over the top. This was obviously the most different promo we've seen out of Jinder, but this is where we need him to be. We've heard him speak at these Punjabi celebrations, and he's had opportunities to speak and be memorable. And this is the first time he spoke and was memorable. Right?
Absolutely. The Punjabi celebrations are memorable just in and of themselves, but for him to be memorable, you're right. He had lines and he had jokes, and they were bad. They were dad jokes, but they were, he's got the look His promos are coming along.
Dude, so think about Nikolai Volkov and think about Iron Sheik, like the humor that they utilized. They were heels. Like, that's the kind of, he's supposed to be making unfunny dad jokes.
I know. It's not a criticism. I think it's good. I hope that Nakamura does not beat him for the title. Like, I want Jinder to be champion until it makes sense for him to not be.
I want him to just be a good champion. And I will say, to his credit, I feel like he's doing the best he can do with the material he's been given. I feel like for what he can do, he's doing the best he can do. Last night was the first time I was really satisfied with him on the mic.
And his work rate is not bad. Like, he puts on good matches. Not great matches, but serviceable matches.
And yeah, serviceable. Yeah, I would say kind of like Roman Reigns in that, he's, you put him in there with someone great and you're going to get something great. But we need this character to be well-rounded, and he's got a great amount of cheap heat. The cheap heat just being that he's not American, and that's easy. And he's with his name and his gimmick and his Titantron and his entourage and his music, he's easy to hate when he walks through the curtain. That's a good thing for a heel champion to have. Let's just get his personality on point. And these are just things I wish would have happened before he won the title.
Right. There's no going back on that, but
right. So there was that. I was disappointed a little bit in the tag match, and
oh, you serious?
No, well, okay, I was disappointed with the outcome. Well, here, you know what? I'll even do you one better. Let me fix my statement. I'm just now, because of last night, I'm doubly pissed that the Usos won the titles at SummerSlam. I am really getting fed up, Jarrett, with the frequency of these title changes.
Yeah, because now, when New Day came to SmackDown 2 months ago, they were the 2-time champs, and now they're the 4-time champs.
And there's no example worse than the Raw Women's Championship, but
right.
SmackDown's Tag Championship. I mean, like, why did we need that title change to happen? Nothing happened in that title run. It's just to pad stats. Say now the Usos have been 2-time champions or whatever it is. Whatever their number is. I'm sure it's not 2. It's just annoying me. And same with Alexa Bliss. We're manufacturing title runs. I'm sorry, I meant Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks is going to she's going to break Ric Flair's record by next summer. Because
she's never successfully defended it.
That's exactly my point. That's frustrating me. Yes, did they have a great match last night? Sure did. Yeah, I enjoyed the match. So I front sold that wrong. But you're
because I love that match.
I almost felt like it wasn't street fighty enough.
Well, yeah, I mean, there was a lot of spot setting up, but it was nice to see a mean streak from Kofi Kingston. I thought that was cool.
That was my favorite part. I feel like, now remind me, because I was a little bit in and out on this match. Were all 3 New Day members wrestling?
No. So, Woods comes out, Xavier Woods comes out with them, and he boop, 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 and then he doesn't even walk down the ramp. He goes back in, and they come down. He just comes out with them, and then he goes away, and then as soon as they win, he runs to the ring.
Is he injured?
I thought Kofi was injured. I did not know that. I didn't know if Xavier Woods was injured.
If this is a street fight, this makes no sense. Why would? Because there's no disqualification. Why would?
It's got to be 2-on-2. I mean, because they're faces. If they were heels, all 3 would have been there. That's what I kept thinking when they did the match to see who would pick the stipulation. I thought if the New Day won, the cool stipulation would be a handicap match, 3-on-2.
Well, man, that part kind of took me out of it a little bit. I was trying to find out what was going on with Xavier, and I realized he was in the back, although I think he might be hurt. Legit, I'm not sure. Yeah, that took me out of it a little bit, but you're right. The match was awesome. Do you hear me on these title changes?
I totally get with you on the title changes, but I won't let it affect the enjoyment of the match. At this point, there are so many titles that when a title changes hands, it very rarely means anything to me. Like the United States Championship could have changed hands last night. I would have been like, well, that's pretty crazy, Ty Dillinger. But the tag championships trading back and forth, the tag championships and the women championships don't mean anything to me. The matches can stand alone and be great, but the actual titles don't mean anything to me.
I want to talk about the women's championship for a second because, man, I'm not sure I'm feeling either one of these two women, and I have a new least favorite move in all of wrestling. Besides
what
like
is
the stupid YouPorn plexes or whatever. Boy, that series of kicks from Naomi. Oh, that is so douchey looking. And then Natty sells none of them because you can't, because the next one's just a third of a second away. It just looks so fake. It doesn't, even if it was real, it wouldn't be painful because I mean a painful kick should knock somebody over. I just think it looks so stupid. I'm happy that you're athletic enough to do that many kicks in that amount of time, but it just looks so dumb to me.
It doesn't look like it has any impact. You're not generating any power.
Yeah, I thought it was awful. I hate that. I don't want to see that again. I'm just over Naomi. She's a great example of someone who's only an entrance to me. I know people on the post show have spoken highly of her work before. I'm out. I'm sorry. I don't like her.
I don't like her either, and I'm sick of her entrance.
Yeah, I don't. That's lost on me too, to be honest with you. Yeah, it's somewhat exciting in the fact that it's bright and colorful, but I mean that's supposed to be the kind of stuff that gets a third grader excited. All these colors.
Well, now we sound like Dolph Ziggler.
I suppose so.
Right. Well, and to go back to podcast, that's what he always says. And then the bell rang. Yeah, that's kind of the thing, but. With like Bobby Roode, I like seeing his exaggerated entrance. With Naomi, now I'm just I'm getting a little sick of it. Right. I like Roode's. I'm sick of Nakamura's because it takes too long.
Yeah, it needs something. It's missing a little something for me.
Yeah, like 5 minutes less.
It's really, I'm not even sure it's fair to say it's a great entrance. It's really just a great song.
Yeah.
It seems safe to say you preferred SmackDown this week. Is that correct?
A+.
Wouldn't say an A+. I'll give it, I will say a slight edge over Raw because I liked Raw too. I loved Raw. I mean, this was a great week for wrestling. Yeah. Again, agreed. Last week we said the same thing. Yeah, no, the post SummerSlam I think has been a real strong point this year. I agree. These two shows, the past 2 weeks have been so good. And I hope that it just continues to grow and they stay on this track. I hope that it starts to swell up and upswing. And I hope it feels like we could be in the beginning of something good, but I don't want to get my hopes up. No, I mean, yeah, sometimes it goes week by week, but I agree. Since SummerSlam, I've been very content with both shows. And it's probably got a lot to do with something we've been saying. I mean, this might be the proof that we're talking about in that, you give us less of these big shows, you got more time to build these angles and give us stuff to sink our teeth into. What's it, 5 weeks between SummerSlam and No Mercy? And then and then 2 more weeks between SummerSlam and SmackDown's first pay-per-view. So that's 7 weeks. Like that's what it's supposed to be. And now, will we feel overwhelmed when we just get out of No Mercy and then go right into Hell in a Cell? I don't think so. Well, there'll be 2 weeks, first of all, and then second of all, it's all going to be different angles. So I'm going to go with a no. Okay. So yeah, I don't know. That will maybe feel like a lot, but I almost was surprised that we weren't making predictions this week because it just feels like it's been too long since our last predictions episode. It's a good feeling. We're making predictions next week, and I'm still not looking forward to it because I don't know what I'm going to predict. But those are the way it's supposed to be. Like that's the desired result, I think. Yeah. Anything else you want to mention from SmackDown last night, Jer? Just bleeding the hard way. You did a fantastic job with that. Thank you. I'm spent. I'm spent. Yeah, I imagine that probably wore you out a little bit. That was a little bit of cardio for you. Super excited. Man, thank you again for another great week of shows. If you guys didn't watch Monday's episode, I thought it was pretty solid. Our conversation about Intercontinental Champions. You can check that out on the same YouTube channel. For myself, The Rob, and my tag team partner in podcasting, Mr. Wednesday Morning, Jerry Valeri. We will see you next Tuesday, I believe, for a Raw recap on Post to Post. Bleeding the hard way.